Good Erev Yontif. I want to tell you about a woman named Jessica Meir. She is one of those incredibly impressive individuals, a NASA astronaut, a marine biologist, a physiologist. She was previously a professor of anesthesia in Harvard Medical School. She did her thesis in comparative physiology at the University of British Columbia, studying diving physiology, the behavior of emperor penguins in Antarctica. She matriculated at Brown University as well, in addition to studying oceanography and the International Space University. She has an expertise in how species fare when they go from one environment and emerge suddenly into an entirely different one. On top of all of her achievements, Dr. Meir is an astronaut, and she participated a little while ago in the first ever all-female spacewalk. She's currently on a mission with NASA, occupying the International Space Station since September 25th, and she'll be returning after more than a third of a year on April 17th, in only 3 short days from today. Dr. Meir, as we said, an authority on transitions from one environment to the other, will be making the most jarring re-entry into Earth that has ever been accomplished by an astronaut. For when she left, the world was normal. The news of the day was filled with talk about baseball. Adam Schiff was trending on Twitter about Ukraine. Impeachment talks were building up momentum. It was the third day of the fall season, and the economy was booming, and most of the world had never heard of something called coronavirus. My, have things changed. She will be reintegrating into a world that is completely different, utterly unrecognizable from the one she left behind. A few weeks ago, she had the most unique vantage point of the world. She observed the globe, the Earth, in all of its majesty from space. What kind of world will Dr. Meir observe when she re-enters Earth's atmosphere? For no amount of training, wisdom, experience, or degrees can dictate how we navigate in a new world like this. And the question that we keep asking, and the question I'm asking myself, is what now? What does after Pesach look like? Not so much when we get back to life as usual and what will that day be, but rather, what is life going to be like? For everyone, for the world, for the country? And what is Jewish life going to be like? Maybe, though, a fresh pair of eyes is exactly what is needed in this moment. Someone who has never laid eyes on this world that we're in now. I want to share an incredible Mamar Chazal, one which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. The Mechilta tells us that when it comes to the Shirat Hayam, when it comes to the song of Az Yashir that we sang by the sea as it parted, which we commemorate on the 7th day of Pesach, Ra'asa Shivcha al Hayam asher lo ra Yechezkel ben Bozi. A lowly maidservant, a woman with no prophetic experience, with no higher education, witnessed at the Yam Suf that which the greatest of our prophets could not. What this well-known medrash is teaching us is that extraordinary times turn ordinary people, such as maidservants, into extraordinary people. The heroes we knew back on September 25th when Dr. Meir went to space were the politicians, the athletes, the actors, the actresses, and now they're nurses and doctors, delivery workers, parents, friends. The crisis, the Kriyas Yam Suf, that we have experienced has torn apart the very fabric of our lives, and it has caused us to re-examine what we hold dear, who we hold dear. How do we walk through these new waters? We can't turn to a seasoned prophet in this very moment, because nobody knows the answers. But we do turn to the Shivcha al Hayam, someone who understands the need for flexibility, adaptability, growth, and personal change. And above all, someone who understands the need to lay a new pair of eyes on the world, because we have experienced a paradigm shift. What will weddings, bar mitzvahs, kiddushes look like? We always thought that every problem had the same solution, but the old tricks don't work anymore. We need that fresh pair of eyes on the earth. What did the average person, the Yam Suf, learn that no great prophet could have? That there is more than one way to part the water. There's more than one way to get across from point A to point B, to get across that sea. I used to think it was boating or swimming, and now I can walk. How am I going to view the different tasks and responsibilities in my life on the other side of the Yam Suf? How am I going to view parenting after this? What's my attitude towards finances, and how have they changed? Are we going to obsess over money as we did in the past? Are we going to panic as we used to? Are we going to lord our money over others as we used to? Are we going to let it control us? Maybe now we have a different attitude towards the role of Gedolei Poskim, individuals like Rav Shechter, Rav Asher Weiss, and other leaders whose daily shilos v'tshuvos, their responsa, are holding up the Jewish world, answering questions with courage and with wisdom that we didn't remember existed. Maybe there's another person in our orbit whom we've been neglecting or ignoring, or who have gone underappreciated. Look at them with a fresh pair of eyes. See a world that is different now. Perhaps the lavish kiddush or the wedding really wasn't so important the way we had to see it play out. Maybe the fights with our bar mitzvah boys, to complete every aliyah, to daven every tefillah with perfection, maybe they weren't just worth it. After all, which aliyahs are they laning now? And maybe the machlokes, your machatanim, over a matter of whether you had an 8-piece orchestra or a 12-piece orchestra, or who gets to host the young couple the first Pesach, and whose turn it is this year. Maybe those arguments, which have all been rendered moot, have to be reconsidered with a fresh pair of eyes. We need to rethink all of this, because we have emerged into a new world. And if we don't know what to do, maybe find the simplest person that you know and ask them with Seichel HaYashar, is this right? Does this make sense? Is this the way we treat one another? Is this the way we relate to the various components of our lives? Am I obsessed with work? Am I overwhelmed by money? Am I treating shul with dignity? Is it right to joke around and speak lashon hara the way I have been? Ask a simple person. Ask someone who will just answer you with honesty, without multiple PhDs in complexity and overanalysis in gray areas and nuance. Ask the Shivcha al Hayam, are we on the right course or are we not? Because the simple ones, the children and others, will tell you exactly the truth as you need to hear it. This is why the halacha is, when you find a questionable mark in a Sefer Torah, and you don't know whether a letter is missing or absent, whether a leg is fully complete to the bottom of the row in a Torah, the halacha is that you call a child, not someone with vast experience in Safras, not someone who's published multiple Sfarim, not someone who's been through Smicha, who has Yorodei and Yadin Yadin. You turn to a child to resolve those new uncharted waters. And the Gemara is replete with stories of prophecy being accorded not to great prophets, but children of little experience, where the child is approached and is asked, Psokli psukecha, tell me the verse that is on your mind, that's on your lips. And from that child emerges the direction that we need. Because maybe this is the opportunity we need to re-emerge into the world that is new. Start from scratch, with tamimus, with simplicity, with non-judgment, like a shifcha al hayam. I hope we can see that new way forward. I hope we can take that new path, for surely it is leading us someplace wondrous and better. Chag Sameach, and I look forward to seeing each of you very soon.